Hello, my name is Blanca, and today I'll be going over the book called The Last. Pardon. Okay, The Last Call: The Rise and Fall of Prohibition by Daniel Okrent. Okay, first, the book overall, I give you more of insight, more information into the prohibition, what, what kind of effects it caused around it, and why it was done, and there are many effects of the prohibition. Some were good effects, and some were really extreme bad effects. Some say prohibition was a complete failure, and but at the same time, I don't believe prohibition was a complete failure. There's, there's something good that came out of it. I'll explain that in later on this video. And so, what's prohibition? First of all, prohibition was occurred when the 18th Amendment was passed. I believe it was 18th Amendment. Yes, in the 1920, 18th Amendment was passed that alcohol made drinking or distributing or selling any kind of alcohol was illegal. And so during this time, it was the Roaring Twenties, where everyone was out there, outgoing, like they were always drinking and doing all that. So you could see the kind of impact it had on social lives right at that moment. But if you dig in deeper, like why did people want the 18th Amendment to be passed? Most people that wanted the 18th Amendment to be passed were it was mostly forced by women, but not just women. Mostly were, but not just them. Some other groups as well, uh, like women's rights, supported the prohibition movement as well, because every single group was tied together in order to pass this law, this amendment. Okay, I'm getting off track a bit. Um, why did they want to prohibit make alcohol illegal? Well, the main reason was that alcohol consumption was really vast, like really vast. I mean, when we mean vast, we don't. But like when you think vast, you don't think just one person. You think multiple, and that's true. That's how it used to be. It was extremely vast. It was almost every single man drank alcohol. Almost every single one drank, from dawn till dusk. They just drank, and everyone said for many reasons. Maybe it was because, oh yeah, they were happy, oh yeah, they were sad, and that's how it went. But women weren't liking this at all, due to that men, all they did when they got home was drink. Or sometimes they didn't even go home and they went to bars and just drank alcohol with their buddies. And many women didn't like this. Why? Because they were wasting all the money they just had earned that day in drinks. And what occurred to the family? Well, they were left to face the consequences by themselves, due to the father uh, always drinking away the money they earned. It's like, for example, think about it like this. Think of all the problems that's out there with the family that have drunk parents, that are just drunk, like are addicted to drinking. That's technically what that was technically how, before prohibition, how it was in almost every single family. Men were, they just drank. But the thing is, it wasn't shunned that it is right now. Like if you drink everything, over excessively drink, it didn't used to be shunned. That only recently happened due to the prohibition. Um, Back then it wasn't shunned at all. People actually, like, they encouraged it. They did it themselves, and it was like their norm back then. Their norm was, it was okay if you drink a lot. It's okay. They're happy. They're sad. It didn't really come to mind that, like, it didn't really come to mind it was bad until later on. Until women wanted something to change, because they were sick of just not never having enough money to pay rent. Or they were sick of always seeing their husbands getting there just completely drunked out, like just completely out of it. They're just tired of it, and so the prohibition movement began, and I believe it only took around a couple months, not too long, in order to pass the law. It usually takes longer. Amendment, my bad. It didn't take that long to pass the amendment. Yeah, it usually takes longer, but I remember reading that the 18th Amendment took a little bit less time, and so there was those positive effects where the alcohol was banned. Peop, uh, the drinking standards were lowered, but were those were kind of there was the pros that the drink consumption was lowered by a significant amount. But what were the negatives? What were the cons? Well, first, alcohol had how you call it, income tax. No, income tax. Well, there's some kind of tax tied into it. I believe it was income tax, but there had some kind of tie, and it was really important taxes. Like it wasn't something that could just be thrown out, taken completely away from America, because it created a vast majority of money that the United States had. For example, when Abraham Lincoln was president during the Civil War, he put these taxes on alcohol, and by doing so, he was able to pay for the Civil War. So that shows how vast those taxes are. So when people when people wanted to stop alcohol, they were trying to figure out, before to actually like consider stopping alcohol, they had to first figure out how how to make up for these taxes, and so they tried many different things. They offered many options, but almost nothing could cover those taxes that the alcohol had brought. Nothing could cover the expenses, and so my bad. And so that was one of the cons of it. Like it cost like an amount of money to be lost, but then I believe they found another substitute for it. Okay, and what after the 18th Amendment was passed, what occurred next? Well, first, something that people significantly saw was corruption. Corruption rose like a rock. It rose extremely quickly. Why was that? It was due to many people wanted alcohol, but they weren't able to get it. So that's where mobsters and corruption took advantage in, because they were capable of bringing the alcohol without being caught, without being sent to jail. They were able to just bring it in for people, and that's how mobs and corruption grew, and it had a quick amount because they could give them something they all wanted. And also that speakeasies were created. Speakeasies are like these bars that served alcohol illegally, and they always had hidden traps, or they had always had tricks up their sleeves in order to get rid of all the alcohol and in order to move everyone out as quickly as possible. I remember one of the speakeasies had, like, if there was the back bar, they had a handle which they pull, and all the alcohol would just fall down to the sewers. And they also had like a little trap door to the wall in which they're able to push, and everyone can get out as fast as they can. And so that's one of the other cons. Like by prohibition, it gave an advantage. It gave an opening for corruption and mobs to grow at such a rapid rate. And finally, many people say that probation was a failure because they say it didn't change anything, just made everything worse and all of that. But in reality, I don't believe. I think it was mostly a failure, but I think they did something good. What I believe they did say good in was that they were able to decrease the amount of alcohol that was consumed after the 18th Amendment was repealed. Like now many people, now it's not a vast majority of people that consume alcohol. Yes, they may consume, but they don't consume at such a drastic rate that they used to. Now it's more at a control way. And now people are shunned for drinking their paycheck away, for drinking away their money as they see their family get hurt. Now it's shunned. Now it's actually like shunned. Before it was more like a norm, not norm to harm their family, but norm to like drink all their paycheck away, or just drink and drink and drink. But now it's shunned by a vast majority of the population. And so overall, my bad. Overall, this book was really good, and my thoughts about it, like if I lived in that era, I don't know how I would handle it, because if I don't, my dad does drink, but he doesn't drink it to address the grade. He drinks now and then, and to think that I will, if I lived in a household that where the parent, my dad just drank all our money away, I believe it would be pretty hard. We'd be struggling to survive, especially after you see all the news and stories about people with drunk parents trying to survive, just trying to pass one day, just scraping by every single day. So really made me think like how they in the world that many people live back then, where just the parents just drank away their money as if it was nothing, and didn't have enough money to pay their rent. Like it's hard it, it's hard to imagine that something like that occurred now that we see how everything is right now, but it occurred, and I would never want, and I don't think I would be able to survive in a good manner in those past days. And well, that was Prohibition. That's my thoughts. That was a quick summary of what occurred, pros and cons. Thank you for watching my video.